Hey, what's going on, triathlon fans? This is Ryan, setthepacetriathlon.com, and if you're watching this video, it is to get some insider information on Ironman 70.3 Des Moines. Now, I've raced that, and I've done several videos of my experience, but I thought you'd also be interested to hear in some of my athletes' perspective. We got Travis that has done a couple half Ironmans in the past. He's done one full Ironman, so I just wanted to get some time with him so he can share his thoughts on the race, just so you hear from multiple perspectives on how the race went and what you should maybe expect. I think 2021 was a little bit off the wall as far as the weather delay and the extremely warm temperatures by the end of the day on the run. Stay tuned for his take on the bike, on the swim, on the run, and just kind of the event overall. If there's anything you should be watching out for, I'm going to break it up in several different videos so you guys can take it in as you want. To the run course. So this is, I think, where it got interesting, at least for me. I'm not going to bore people with my rendition because, like I said, I've already talked about it. So take us through your run experience, because this was full. We had the full swim, half the bike, and then 13.1 miles of beautiful Des Moines on a very hot. I think I got, by the end, was 93 degrees. I think temperature.
Yeah.
So take us through your run experience.
Yeah, it got warm fast. When we were coming back, or at least when I came back into T2, the sun was just starting to shine really good, and the clouds were pretty much gone at that point. Enjoyed that extra pair of socks, got the shoes on, and got out. Pretty good time. I did take the advantage of hitting the porta potty there, since you're running right by them to get out, which was good placement. And then it was nice and shady, getting out of transition and back onto the run course and then going around the lake. Fairly flat. So, I'd say the first half lap was a fair bit of shade, fairly flat. And since the bike course was shorter, you didn't have your typical jelly legs like you would expect coming off there. At least I didn't. And I pushed a little harder on the bike knowing it was shorter, but I still felt pretty fresh coming off the bike, so that was nice. Consciously went a little slower those first couple of miles. The aid stations were nice, well spread out. Most of them were in the shade most of the time, and so had a pretty smooth run there. And then coming up the backside of the lake was good. Start to see a little more sun. Really, the only significant hill was where you come up that and you actually get out on the roadway and then run up there for about a mile and a half, where you're starting to get into the downtown area. That's just a long, slow pull, and really that's the only significant hill on the course. There's a couple of really short ones, but that one, you got to kind of gear up for. And then by the time you start getting into downtown, there's no shade anymore. A couple of buildings let you hide, and the first lap wasn't bad because it was still warming up. But that second loop, when you start coming up that hill, you just started to bake. It got between the cement from the roadway, and then all the cement in the downtown area. It got really warm that second loop. It was nice that once you got up that hill to the top of that overpass, it was flat the rest of the way, just board flat. So if you could, and I timed it fairly well, to where I still had plenty left for that last, what was that, about 2 miles from the top of that overpass to finish, so that I could kind of empty the tank and finish strong there. All the aid stations were, like I said, pretty well spaced out. Really the only problem I had was on that second lap, people walking and stopping in front of the tables. It was kind of a challenge to get in there and grab your stuff and keep going. But and then that little hairpin where you kind of come around that turnaround to get into the finish chute, that's kind of tight when you're 13 miles in and just trying to stay upright. But great crowd at the finish. I mean, they it's right in the middle of a downtown street. people everywhere. So that was kind of nice to finish. But yeah, it got really hot there by the end.
Yeah, because I've got the map up on our background here, but yeah, so they shut down Fluor Drive, and
Yeah,
when you get out there, there's like no shade. So yeah, you're baking, and you go underneath a little bridge, and when you cross the little river here, yeah, you're exposed to the elements. It's like the biggest uphill, if you want to call it that, of the entire race. And yeah, once you're on Locust Street, you're kind of baking a little bit, and then once you get past this little park that's there, felt like finally you get a little bit of coverage from the buildings, whatever. But yeah, I think I recognized you on when I was on my second lap. You passed me on Fluor Drive, and you full head of steam, and you're going after it. And I was walking, make sure I didn't A, throw up, or B, pass out and need medical. I personally, I my mile 10 started biffing it. I was just done. It was just, I don't know. I just did not think. So I looked at the forecast. The forecast said I think like 75, 80 degrees for the high,
yeah,
and
yeah,
then out of nowhere, the sun comes out and just bakes us. Like, I look at my Garmin, it's like 93 by the end of the race. I'm like, personally, I just did not. And I think the shortened bike for me gave me problems personally. I don't know about you, but throws your hydration off because you still have a
yeah,
13.1 mile run, but you only got hour 45 minutes or however long it takes you to do those 27.3 miles to cram in enough hydration. So it's either adjust what you're going to do in the run or super hydrate on the bike and try the best you can. But and
yeah,
I try to advise people, especially while you're waiting 3 hours to start the race, there's you can't just sit around and not hydrate. So I was doing my due diligence. So it looks like you did your plan down to a T because I know we track your, weight before, weight after, and we've got a good average sweat rate for you in different conditions. So it sounded like you did well. What was your for your aid stations? What was your plan on that?
yeah. So I was planning to do, originally with the three aid stations, I was planning to have a full bottle done before I hit each aid station. So with the shortened course, I had a little bit of a longer stretch to the only aid station, but I made sure I had my bottle done and then got a second bottle, and I had to push a little bit to get that one completely done by the time I got back into transition so that I'd have enough fluids because my sweat rate's up there, so I wanted to make sure I got at least a full bottle and then try to drink a little bit when I got into transition. um, and then on the run course, I made sure I got at least two full cups and maybe a third if I was feeling it each time, and didn't skimp on those. Um, as far as food goes, I stick with the Cliff Bars on the bike, and I did get a full Cliff Bar done by the time I got finished with even that 27 miles, and then I did a gel at mile 5 and 10 on the run, and that seemed to carry me pretty good. Um, and otherwise, yeah, I just hit the Gatorade on each of the run stations, and I was feeling okay by the end.
And I was going to say it was a little bit of a tease because that U-turn to hit the second loop is like I don't even know, like 100 yards to the finish line. You can actually kind of see the finish line when you pull the U-turn and you go back out, and it's just like you're feeling it. At least I was. I don't know about you, but that U-turn, you're kind
Yeah,
of feeling it. You're like it's getting hot, and you just got your 6.5 miles or so in, and then you have to run back out. It's just like
yeah,
because for me when I did, there are people finishing, so they're just running by and they're hitting the loop, and it's just like. Oh, wow. I wish I was one of those people.
yeah.
I don't know. Was it a little bit demoralizing for you, or?
Not too bad, not too bad. Yeah, like you said, it was starting to bake a little bit, and you could see it, and you could hear him over there. I was feeling decent on that first loop though, so I was kind of feeding off the crowd a little bit, and kind of got back into it. And but yeah, going down the hill, so I took advantage of that, tried to recover a little bit, and take some free speed where I could, and then I kind of broke my race up, into fourths, I guess. So the first 4 miles I was going slower, and then I would just build every 3 miles after that. So um, Yeah, I just kind of saved it until I started back up that overpass the second time, and that's when I let it go.
Yeah, exactly. Do as I say, not as I do. So it's good that someone listens to my advice, and I totally ignore it. Thanks for watching, endurance sports fans, triathlon fans, wherever you're coming from. Watching video here, 70.3 Des Moines, talking to my athlete Travis. Just wanted to end this little video, broke it up into 3 different parts. So this was the swim and an introduction to Travis. Be on the lookout for the bike, and then the run, and then his final thoughts on the event, whatever. Like I said, just want to give you a flavor. I put my take on it out there, but I wanted you to hear from other individuals that did the race and other aspects and other backgrounds of racing and everything, just so you don't have to take my word for it. So you can get other information out there to collect, see if you want to do the race, or if you've done it and you want to do better, see if there's opportunities where you could do better, or see where other people have had struggles. So hopefully you found this informational. Give it a thumbs up, give it a like on Facebook if you see it there, give it a like on YouTube. Put a comment on there if you see anything that you thought was great or it could use improvement. Whatever you got out there, happy to hear your feedback, and always we'll see you on race day.